The following is a paid program. Talk 103.7 WTIP and Cable Channel 7 welcome you into Financially Speaking with Jim Taunton. Find us live on radio, TV, the IBX Media app, and on YouTube. Just search Financially Speaking NC or get the link at WTIBFM.com. The opinions expressed in this show are for general informational purposes only and not intended to provide specific advice or recommendations for any individual. To determine what investments may be appropriate for you, consult with your attorney, accountant, financial, or tax advisor prior to investing. Securities and investment advisory services are offered through Genoa Wealth Management Incorporated, member FINRA SIPC. Now, here's your host for Financially Speaking, certified financial advisor, Jim Taunton.
Hello there, and welcome to Financially Speaking. I'm Jim Taunton, your host for the next 30 minutes. Glad you joined me. And I hope you'll join me on the phone. Actually, this is a listener participation program. We love to have phone calls. Questions regarding anything financial would be great, or comment for that matter, and I'll chime in with you. The number here is 561-TALK, 561-8255. We are area 252, 561-8255. We're going to a break in just a few seconds. If you call during that break, we'll take your call first when we come back. And as always, if you call in with a question, your name goes into the drawing for the dinner for two at Antavola. I'll even pay the tip. Great place to eat, I can promise you that. And I've got some information put together. I told you last week I was going to talk about the policies being put forward by the two candidates, and I am going to talk about that. I'm a man of my word, but I'd much rather talk to you about something you feel is important and pertinent to you personally. So pick up the phone and call now, and I'll take your call when we come back in a couple of minutes. Talk to you then.
Aiden Golf and Country Club invites you to become a member. Come tour our beautiful clubhouse, ballroom, and facilities. For a quality golf experience, sign up for our discounted special membership rates. Low monthly dues with no quarterly food minimum or assessments. Folks love to play golf at Aiden Golf and Country Club. Cool off at the pool all summer. Enjoy excellent food and beverages from the snack bar. Even store your own cart, unless you like to walk. Call 746-3389 for special limited membership rates at the Aiden Golf and Country Club.
My practice has been built on accessibility, responsiveness, and a willingness to be proactive for my clients. I'm not afraid to make recommendations relating to your investments and planning. I do hope all of your financial decisions are good ones, but let's not rely on hope. Let's roll up our sleeves and get to work.
Jim has attained 3 professional designations: Certified Financial Planner, Chartered Life Underwriter, and Chartered Financial Consultant, which entails 20 courses of study with examinations and a comprehensive national board exam, administered by the Certified Financial Planning Board. Jim has been practicing in financial services since 1979, which includes investing, planning, and insurance to help you meet your financial goals. Among the many awards Jim has received in his career is his selection to the Guide of the Top Financial Planners by the Consumer Research Council of America. So if you want to work with someone who is working for you, call Jim at 756-4700 or email him at planning@financiallyspeaking.com. That's 756-4700 and planning@financiallyspeaking.com.
Welcome back to Financially Speaking, and the producer tells me we have Ed on the line. Ed, go right ahead with your question.
I have been hearing an awful lot about utilizing trust for holding your real estate as a financial shield, and I didn't know if you've had any experience with that would shed some light.
Yeah, you have to be talking about a revocable living trust, and it's a document. Correct. Yeah, so a document that people use typically in lieu of using a will as their primary estate planning document. And the attorney that I work with on estate planning, and he and I conducted estate planning seminars together for 5 years or so at the Washington Civic Center sometime back. So we both are fairly well versed in estate planning, and it's actually about 70% of what he does. He doesn't like putting real estate in a revocable living trust. He doesn't like retitling it to the trust. And he doesn't like retitling automobiles to a revocable living trust. So there's not a whole lot left because all the financial assets that you own, you can actually put a transfer on death on the account, whether it be the bank or a brokerage account, or annuities inherently have beneficiary designations. All IRAs do. So all your financial assets should bypass probate. I can't think of real estate would not normally. That is correct. They would be probated, but there are some reasons why my attorney does not like putting estate or real estate in a revocable living trust. It does nothing for taxes. It doesn't matter what you put in a revocable living trust. It will not save you any taxes whatsoever. There's only two reasons why you use a revocable living trust as your primary estate planning document. Number one, it's a more expeditious transfer of ownership to who you want ultimately to receive it, because it happens outside of probate. Normally probate, may take months for probate to complete. So that's a plus, but also it's private. The trust is private. If you have assets left to someone in a will, anyone can go down after your death and pull up documents and see who got what. But in most cases, those two things really are not concerns. You're not going to have any federal estate taxes normally anyway, because the exemption or exclusion right now is at $13 million a person. And you're not going to have any inheritance tax on the state level because that was done away with, 15 years ago or longer ago. So they're really, in my opinion, you want to talk to an attorney really before you make a conclusion and a decision about something like that. And there are a number of good estate planning attorneys that can help answer that question, but I just don't see a good reason for doing that myself.
Okay. Well, you're a real person, and
I am real.
A lot of the things you hear are from sources that you don't know them from. They don't show up again to have a show next week.
Right. Exactly. As a matter of fact, I talked about this last week on the program, and it was probably a couple of decades ago that revocable living trusts were really a hot button. And there were attorneys, there were financial planners and financial advisors popping up all over the place doing seminars about why you should put everything in a revocable living trust. And most of them would mention tax savings, and that was totally misleading. There are no tax savings for a revocable living trust. So
I do have a question.
Yes.
Does it allow you to have varied degrees of access for the people named in the trust? I mean, could you say give a percentage to one and a percentage to another?
Yes.
Access to what's in there?
Yes, it does. And you can do that through a will too. You can have a will as your primary estate planning document, but within the will, you have a testamentary trust provision so that assets that you've named in the will go into trust at your death, not prior to death, but at your death. And then the trust document will govern how those assets are used, managed, invested, and then how the beneficiary of that trust will receive those. And parents that have minor children, a testamentary trust provision is very needful, because if you have minor children at this last spouse's death, let's say the husband and wife went on a trip, they both went down an airplane, and their children are like 10 and 12. What you want to do is have your assets go into trust for their benefit. You name a trustee for the financial side of the equation for managing assets. You name a guardian, which is the nurturing person, which gets them out of bed and sends them off to school and gets them fed and that sort of thing. So the guardian and trustee are working together. Then you'll have an attorney, you'll have a financial advisor that's working on your financial assets with you. It's a lot of people involved, so it eliminates doesn't eliminate, but it greatly reduces the possibility of collusion and embezzlement and that sort of thing. And you can designate in the trust that your children will have availability to all the income that's being produced. And then when they turn some age, say 25, they may get half of the corpus or principal, their share. And then maybe when they're 35, they get the remainder. So then at 35, the trust is completely evacuated. So that protects your children against themselves for misusing and abusing assets, being spendthrifts.
Well, there is some need for that.
Yes, if you have minor children, yes.
Okay, great. Well, listen.
Or one last thing, if you have an adult child who is a spendthrift or is maybe mentally not able to handle business affairs and things, then there's provisions that can be made in a trust for that as well, so that they're protected.
Same idea. It's just you
Yes.
name who it is.
Exactly.
Okay. All right. Well, you have really helped me.
Good.
Kind of cycle through this.
That's the idea. Where are you calling from, by the way, Ed?
I'm from Greenville.
You are from Greenville. Good. And you probably remember this. I am Mr. Ed. You remember that?
I'm Mr. Oh, yeah, sure.
The horse.
Talking horse.
The Harkin, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that was. I didn't know if that was before your time or not. It's not before my time, but I'm 66, so I caught the tail end of that one. But yeah.
Yeah, I got you a little on that, but that's certainly in my remembrance from.
Yep.
Wilbur and Wilbur.
Yeah, exactly. When television was television.
Absolutely.
Well, Ed, thank you for listening and calling. I really appreciate it. And hopefully you gave your phone number to the producer so you'll be in the drawing for the dinner for two at Atavola.
Yes, I did. And
Okay.
I always enjoy getting your perspective. And thank you so much for your help.
Thank you, Ed, very much.
Right.
You take care. All right, really good questions. And I'll tell you what, let's, right at the middle point, let's go ahead and go to a mid-program break. And let me just make sure I don't have someone waiting here. Let's see. No, Ed was the last one. Okay, so we'll go to a 2-minute break. Call during the break, and we'll take your call first when we come back. And your name will go into the drawing for the dinner for two at Atavola. And the number is 561-TALK, 561-8255. I'll talk to you in 2 minutes.
Aiden Golf and Country Club invites you to become a member. Come tour our beautiful clubhouse, ballroom, and facilities. For a quality golf experience, sign up for our discounted special membership rates. Low monthly dues with no quarterly food minimum or assessments. Folks love to play golf at Aiden Golf and Country Club. Cool off at the pool all summer. Enjoy excellent food and beverages from the snack bar. Even store your own cart, unless you like to walk. Call 746-3389 for special limited membership rates at the Aiden Golf and Country Club.
My practice has been built on accessibility, responsiveness, and a willingness to be proactive for my clients. I'm not afraid to make recommendations relating to your investments and planning. I do hope all of your financial decisions are good ones, but let's not rely on hope. Let's roll up our sleeves and get to work.
Jim has attained 3 professional designations: Certified Financial Planner, Chartered Life Underwriter, and Chartered Financial Consultant, which entails 20 courses of study with examinations and a comprehensive national board exam, administered by the Certified Financial Planning Board. Jim has been practicing in financial services since 1979, which includes investing, planning, and insurance to help you meet your financial goals. Among the many awards Jim has received in his career is his selection to the Guide of the Top Financial Planners by the Consumer Research Council of America. So if you want to work with someone who is working for you, call Jim at 756-4700 or email him at planning@financiallyspeaking.com. That's 756-4700 and planning@financiallyspeaking.com.
Welcome back to Financially Speaking. Jim Taunton here. And I didn't see a text from the producer, so evidently we don't have a caller, but you can call in anytime, interrupt the monologue, please, with your question, financially related. Wait a minute. Great. We've got David from Edenton on the line. David, go right ahead with your question.
I've got two children, and I've got student loans.
How many?
That I've agreed. Two children.
Okay.
And they both graduated from college, but I have told them that I was paying for their education. So I was wondering, my wife is a state employee, 20 plus years, and she has enough of her money in her side of her retirement that we could pull out of her retirement to pay off those student loans.
Mm-hmm.
Would that be something that you would do? She has 8 more years before she retires. There's multiple other avenues of retirement income as far as the pension, 401k,
Mm-hmm.
and inheritance. And
How old is she?
She is 50.
How old is she? 50?
50.
50. And what's the rate on the student loans?
I want to say it's like 7, and
Yeah.
maybe one of them's 9.
Yeah, I would not recommend that. And here's the reason. When you take money out of her retirement, first of all, it's going to be taxable. So you'll add whatever she withdraws from her retirement to your income, pay tax on. Secondly, because she's 50, she'll have a 10% penalty on the withdrawal in addition. So typically, on average, that money is going to cost you 30% up front. So if your payoff on your loans was $50,000, for example, you would have to withdraw 65 to net 50 after the penalty and taxation to pay off the student loans. And I don't think that's worth it. It would be better. Do you have an equity line?
Yes, but that is getting ready to be used for roof and windows and other household things.
All right.
My home is 20 plus years old as well.
I understand. Do you have the maximum equity line that you can have on your home? Do you know that?
I don't think so. I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah. What's your house valued at, would you say?
Probably 350.
350, and your primary mortgage balance is what?
And that'll be paid off next year, and that's like
Oh.
1,400.
Oh, wow. So you have essentially $350,000 of equity. And any bank in the world, well, I say any bank in the world, but if you have a decent relationship with your bank, they'll open an equity line up to 80% of your fair market value, less any outstanding balance on your mortgage. Well, if you don't have a balance, 80% of your value. So you're looking at about $280,000 equity line that you could open. Okay. I don't know what kind of work you're going to do to the house. I doubt seriously that you would need $280,000 for that.
No, I will hope not.
So you could do the work on your house and pay off the student loans if you choose to do that with the equity line. Now, right now, equity lines are higher, much higher than they were like 2 years ago, as far as interest rates concerned, because they're usually tied to either LIBOR or prime rate. And if you have a good relationship with your bank, you can get prime rate minus a half or minus a point, and you'll end up paying, and it's deductible. That interest is deductible, where the student loan may not be deductible. So there are a lot of advantages for that, and you can open an equity line with interest-only minimums, which gives you a lot of flexibility. I'd much rather do that than pay 30% for retirement money coming out.
Right. Gotcha.
And again,
I appreciate
you know, we're talking on radio, so I really don't have any information in front of me. And normally I like to have a lot of information, and I don't want to engage in malpractice. So I highly recommend that you sit down with your financial advisor and or CPA and discuss before decisions are made, you know, along that line.
Gotcha. All righty. I appreciate it.
Thank you for listening and calling. I greatly appreciate it. And of course, if you gave the number to the producer when you called in, you're in the drawing for the Denevatu and Atavola.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
All right. Another great question, and I certainly appreciate it. Yeah, I'm not going to have time to get much into the information, but I'm going to start, because I told the gentleman last week that called in the program I was going to do it this week, and I'm at least going to start. First of all, let me give you some caveats. I am a conservative politically. I'm a conservative voter. However, about 9 years ago, I changed my political affiliation to unaffiliated. And reason is both sides are very disappointing to me for various reasons. But in my heart, in my belief paradigm, I am a conservative voter. Okay? Keep that in mind. But I'm unaffiliated officially. And reason is everybody has disappointed me at some point. So I don't put a whole lot of stock in what any of them say, to be honest with you. So having said that, there's so many things being said that aren't true. You have to fact check everything. Please don't believe what you hear on television. Take it all with a grain of salt. And on the web and the emails that you receive because you're on some list, please check it all. Fact check it. Do some research. Both sides lie. Both sides mislead you. Both sides slant the truth in their favor. That's just the nature of the beast. That's what politics is. You know, I heard a little joke. The word politics comes from two words. Poly meaning many, and ticks meaning blood-sucking insects. And that is so true. So there you go. I'm not a political animal. Don't care for politics. I know the policies that I like and I don't like, but you know, I try to look at individuals. I always vote my conscience. I don't vote the letter behind their name, whether it be an R or a D, but it's tough to vote for one particular segment because, you know, I'm a Christian. I try to use biblical values in all areas of life, not least of which is how I vote. But having said that, let me share some things with you. First of all, and I've got some really good information here. If you're watching on YouTube, hold up. I've got some good stuff. And we're going to get in some depth in what each candidate is saying they will do. Now, will they do it? all? No, they will not. Promises versus reality. Sometimes there's a great disparity between promises and reality. Promises is what you do to get elected. Reality is what you do after you get there. There's so many things in the ads that just irk me. One of the things, and I'm going to play devil's advocate right here. One side is, Trump's people are saying that, Biden caused inflation. Well, if you listen to this program and have listened over the last 3-4 years, that's not really true. There are two things that cause inflation. I've said this numerous times on the show. Number one, during COVID, the economy shut down all around the world, really. So we had no supply. And it took a long time for the supply chain to get back up and running. I mean, it took 1.5 to 2 years for the supply chain to normalize after it was shut down manually and voluntarily. So lower supply. Then when we're coming out of COVID, the government injected money into the equation to try to jumpstart segments of our economy. And both sides agreed on this. Both sides did it. So we had lots of cash coming in. We had much lower supply. That is a recipe for inflation. Too many dollars chasing too few goods. That is the textbook definition of inflation. That's what causes it. And there isn't one administration that was guilty of this sin. It was both parties doing these things to try to help the economy and overcome the supply chain issues if possible. So, you just fact check everything that you hear. Also, the other side is saying that essentially that Trump has adopted this Project 2025, and he hasn't. His campaign will tell you he has never come out and endorsed this Project 2025, which was created by a conservative think tank. Now, I'm looking at bullet points from this 2025, Project 2025, and, it's a lot of good stuff there, but I haven't looked at the details, and as we all know, the devil is in the details. But he's never endorsed this. So the other side is saying that, and that's not true. So both sides lie. Let's go ahead and get that out in the open, okay? No one is without sin. And so no one can cast the first stone. And what I'm going to share with you about the policies that they're proposing is totally the economic side, because I'm a financial advisor. This program is Financially Speaking, so I need to talk about money. Okay, that's what we're going to talk about as in relation to the two candidates. What they're talking about, proposing about economic policy. We're not going to talk about the social side of the equation. We're not going to talk about defense, because they're not. I haven't heard either one say a single sentence about defense, about Israel. And we basically know how Trump stands. We know how the current administration stands because they've been in office and we've seen what they've done. But they're not saying much about that. And regulation, we're not going to cover that much, a little bit, but not much. So, man, all I've done here is giving you a preamble to what I'm going to be sharing, but I'll have to start it next week. I apologize. I don't apologize. I love callers. Much rather talk to you. So you call next week. I'd love to talk to you as well. I've got music, so that means I'm out of time. As always, this is Jim Taunton helping you make all of your financial decisions good ones. Good night, everybody.